audible and the background is fixed. Hello. My voice is audible, right? And the background is fixed. Let me lower a bit of the background. Okay, seems like fine. So what we'll be doing today is so yesterday where we stopped was here, right? The timer. When you click this timer, the timer was starting, but it was not stop. And the play and pause button was not working because our shared preferences was not getting running. So I found out that you can do something like this. So one second. Yeah. So if you do something like this, provider scope, right? Since you're using Firebase, Riverpod, you can override something. So in the override, what you can write, you can override with value. Like if a provider is already declared, right, you can change its value directly using the overrides. So how this will work is, let me show you. So providers on the timer. So in the timer, we created a provider, okay? So something like set preference a provider, and it will get an instance of set preference, but first it will throw an unimplemented error because we'll not be implementing now. And here we'll get the instance, we'll do await on the main async, right? We'll do an await here, and we'll do an override so that it can override this provider. So what that will make is we don't have to wait anymore for the set preference. So set preference can now be synchronous. So on the setting value will be asynchronous, but to access the instance of it, right, this will become synchronous. How this will work is, here it will override the value. So this unimplemented error, right, instead of this it will put the shared preferences instance. So this is a way we can do it, and since this is part of Riverpod, right, so I don't think there is anything wrong with it. It's just that when the app starts, right, it will just take a couple of seconds, couple of milliseconds more, because it has to await for the shared preferences. Okay. And how will this work is now, and we also did one more thing. So the shared preferences on this timer, right, we have a async provider, right, where we notify provider where we get these timers. So now we're also doing one more thing. Like when you fetch all the timers from database, right, since all this data it will save to database, only the running part is in the local, right? So what we'll do, we'll watch the preference. Now we'll have access to set preferences. We'll watch the preference, and whatever the timers we get, right, from get all timers. If you go to get all timers repository, right, you'll see that we're trying to get all the timers. Now what we'll do is, for each timer, we have entered one more field called local status. Sorry. So what this will do is, if you see this, let me show you the timer model. It will contain a list of string. Since in the shared preferences, right, yesterday when we said on the view part of it, let me show you the timer view. So create new, add new timer. It has to run the timer, right? So set local timer status. So who is using this will get it there. So if you see this, right, update local status, we save this, right? The shared preferences will save it as string list, where the key will become the timer ID, but the value will become both of them. That is the if it's running and what is the unique ID, right? So now in the providers, we try to add this local status and we'll try to put this by the timer ID, because as I said, right, the key is the timer ID. So here we'll get a list. The list will contain either if it's running and what is the unique ID, and we'll enter this in time. So how will this help is, so now whenever we get this, right, this timer list, this is async notifier, we'll get the data. This data will also have the local status of it. So if it's running or not. Now you see this is not running, right? Now when you click on it, let me clear this debug. See on the terminal also. Okay, when I click on it, you see it got fired, right? Now let's wait for 20 more seconds. If you see this button, right, now this is in the running phase. The button changed, right? Because it's part of the async notifier. Now I think the time is almost up. I'll give a couple of seconds more. So alarm is fired, right? It's stopped. Now you see this should get stopped, right? So now we have to work on the start is working. So when you click on it, it's working. But when it's fired, right, this firing process happens inside the set preference, inside the isolate, right? So now we have to find a way how we can so whenever it happens inside the isolate, we somehow have to share that ask the UI port of it, right? Not the background port, the UI port to update this. So today we'll be working on that, where the background, right, when it updates the set preference, the UI should also have an idea like it got updated and it should change this. So that is what we'll be working today. Okay. So when we do an callback, if you see the callback part of it, so where is the callback? This callback. Here, this is where we need the set preferences. Set preference should make this false, right? But for this, there is one more caveat to it. This will not have access to, we cannot pass any parameters here, right? The callback needs to be non-parameterized. So how do you get the ID of the set preference? Because now that ID is timer ID, but we don't have access to timer ID here, right? So that is what we need to fix today, and see if we can make any modification on set preferences and get that. Okay. So in the callback, we can call the set preference. So if you do a final reference, and we can just do ref.read. Isn't this a consumer state? Yes, it is. So it says instance member can access from static method. Try removing the reference to the instance member or removing the export static. So if it's not static, it don't work. It should work, right, even without static. So there's the set preference provider. So read this and reference dot. This is where we wanted to get. We wanted to get it, right? But we need to pass the key. But we don't have access to the key ID, right? Because that is timer ID. So that is what we need to fix. But I went through the docs of this element. It says this callback can have one parameter, but that parameter will be the unique ID for which it's calling. But using the ID we cannot, right? Because it's a timer ID, right? Not the unique ID. If you make it unique ID, then our provider won't stop working, because here we won't have the ID then, right? So we are stuck basically. So we need to do somehow something so that we need to get the key and update the status to false. But how do you get the key? It's a value of any type from persistent storage, but we need to pass the key, right? So how do you get this key? first let's see one thing. Does it work even without static, right? It should work, but yeah, let's see that. Restart the app. So this is one thing. Let's cancel it. So it got cancelled. Now start it. So it did not start, right? It says false. Something failed. Because why did it fail? Does it say why it failed or what? You can cancel it here if it's already running, that we did. Else one shot. It will only return the boolean, right? But it won't say what the error is. How do you know what the error is? Learn to be a top level function or static. So it needs to be a static function. So if you see the callback, right? And see this. The function callback can be function. Callback must be a top level function or static method. So that is what we need. So let me do one thing. Stop function. Just like name suggests, top level function sits at the top of a class or file, and it should not be part of any. Now the best example is allmate, which is also the entrepreneur feature, is also not part of any class. So to make it top level, it should be independence of any class. So we cannot put it inside class. So then how do you even get access to? If you put static, right, you won't have access to reference, right? You won't have reference. Reference member cannot be accessed from a static method. Try removing the reference to the instance member or remove the try reference. Maybe that will just interact with providers. So let me search on Chrome. Accessing reference web static method. They don't even select regular static method. This is not parameter. We really can't access rep in a static method. However, if we define rep in a constructor, it's possible. It's a terrible interpreter. One second. So the only way is we need to pass. We need to pass it here, right? So let me bring up Chrome and let's go to the pub.dev and go to Android LM Manager, Android LM Manager. this one and go to examples. So they declared it in the everything is on the top level. That's why they have access to them, right? So even in the callback, if you see, so implement point. This is the callback, right? They have access to set reference because it's not part of any class now. But ours is not part. Ours is not. So we need to make it a top level then. Interesting. So what we need to do is like we need to make it a top level so that we can even get the things accessible. Since we cannot pass in the callback right here, we cannot pass anything. Let's see one thing. Can we pass? Parameter to callback. Android alarm manager plus Flutter. Is a callback alarm triggers. So let's say this by Naduraj. I'm going to take the premium for now. So do they have anything on the callback? So you can pass integer, right? The function that will be executed in Apache, it must be a top level static function that takes an integer input, which is the ID of the alarm. It must also be annotated with pragma vi binary. So we can only get access to the ID. That is one issue. And the second issue is we don't get access to the reference, right? Okay, that is nothing useful here. So we don't have access to reference. We can't have access to reference because this is static and we can't pass anything here. So the only way is now the set preference needs to be on the outer class, that is on the top level. So what do we do? So if you do something like this, okay, if you put in the top class, right, something like this, so final set preference equals to set preference dot get instance, right, something like this, and we'll have access to this because this is in the outer class, right? So we can do something like a weight of this, right? So this will be set preference, and set preference will only pick up the same database. That is one thing, okay, that we can do. But there is one problem again now. We can't access the that key, right? That key is a what is it? The timer ID, right? It's not a unique ID. And that's a problem. It's not that we cannot set it to our time unique ID. If we set it to unique ID, The problem is then we cannot access this in the fetch all timers. So then again the issue will arise, right? We cannot put it in the same list. The local cannot be part of same list. So what do we do? How do you get things? It's basically a dead end for us. So we either needs to make the key, right? The key that we are using. If you see here the key needs to be then the unique ID itself. If it's unique ID, then we can have access on the callback. We need it, right? We will need it because we want to change the state of it. So what do we do? Can be done. But even if you get access to set reference, okay, even if you get access to that value, we can update it. But how will we update the UI part of it? We need to, okay, we can send a message, because if you see on the, if you see the example right here, you can use this send port and all this thing so that you can talk to each other. Okay, the UI part of it and this. You need an isolated name. So what it does is a UI part will send this and we'll keep on listening this and it will increment this, right? Okay, this can be done. Okay, we can follow this for this, but how do you get access to set references, that particular key? So we have access to set reference, but how do you do? You get access to all the keys and you can go through all the keys and do that, but I don't think that is a good idea. What do you do? So for now we have to follow this. So what we can do is get all the keys, preferences dot get. You get all the keys, okay, and for each one second. So what does for each do? It will take a for each and the action, and for each print So here if you pass the value for each of this, and since we want to update will mean await. However, I don't think for each waits for await, so we'll have to go through the for loop case. Okay, so we'll do final case equals to this for final key in case. So we need to do something like await. We can't use await. Okay, we can. Reference dot get string list. Put the key. This will be a list, right? 0. What it says. The method can be unequal because the receiver can be null. Okay. So here let's pass the integer. So int it will be unique ID. Okay. So now we have access to the unique ID, right? So what we can do is we need to go through all of the data that has been saved to set preference, and wherever the unique ID matches, we'll turn that to false. I think that should work for us, but let's see. So this, the first one, if right, so if the one is equals to, we need to parse the integer. Okay, we are not saving anything else on set preferences, right? So I think we should be fine with it. But if you save anything else, then we are messed up. Okay, the argument type string can be assigned to parameter type string. Is equals to unique ID, and then what we can do is we can do preference dot set the case this, the value will be something like this, and the value will be false, and it will be the unique ID, right? Unique ID, something like this. We need to await, we want to complete it. So we can do something like this. I don't think this is the good way, or it's the worst way, I think, but yeah, let's see. So this way at least we can change it, and after it's done, now so let's go to Chrome and see. So when it's done, we want to call the UI port, right? So that we need to listen. So what we can do first is we can listen something like this. So what is port here? Let's say port is the receive port. A port used to communicate from a background isolate to the UI isolate. Okay, here the port, and this does not need to access the port, right? The port is being only accessed. Register a event from the back. Register for events from background. The message will always coincide with an alarm firing. So if you do something like this, okay, let's bring this. Where is the port? This one, receive port. This is a way to communicate to the UI isolate, it says. So let's go back to our code. So what is happening is, let's put this first. If I put this receive port, and I think this will be part of the dark isolate. Okay, so in the init state we need to keep listening this one, port dot listen, and on anything, if anything happens, This will happen only when there is something when there is a callback, right? Because we'll be calling whenever there's a change in state, we'll be calling this, right? So what we can do is we can just call this. We can't call set. We can say we can refresh this one, right? We can say ref dot refresh. Can we refresh this? The timer itself, timer notifier provider. Okay. Not just refresh, and if you go to this, update local status, we get this, we do a reload, ref dot reload. So we do a reload because we don't know if anything was added, right? I think. So what will happen is it will reload. What reload does, use this method to observe modifications that were made in the native code without using plugin while the app is running. Fetches the latest values from the host platform. Okay, let's see. Let's watch. Let's see if we get it. So we reload this and one second. So it will update local status, right? So we can go here and first is we need the timers, right? We cannot just update this. So since we need to get access to the timers, we cannot directly run this, but if you run refresh will call everything, right? So forces the provider to re-evaluate the state immediately and return the created value. Refresh provider is strictly identical to doing invalidate provider. So instead of this, we'll like to invalidate the state of the provider, causing it to refresh. Okay. If you invalidate this, then what will happen is it will call this fetch all timers, right? But it will do an API call again. That is not what we want. So what do we do? Here we are passing timers, but why do we need the timers, right? Already there is a state, right? Remove this for timer and state. Okay, state is async value. So what we can do is here we can do something like final timers equals await of state, await for the state, use this await on instance of async value, which is not a subtype of future. Okay, we cannot use this state dot sdata dot. This is async data. How do we access this data? So here the state is async value, right? State. This is an async value. The value currently expressed by the async notified equals to async loading instead of async notified method. Invoke the set variables notify listener. Reading state if the property is out of range, such as if one different exchange will take as much paper to be insecure. So what can be done is state, right? On the same value, how do you get the data? So state dot value. This timer will be a list of this, right? And we are expecting it will have, right? It will have a state of some, because this will be calling after we already have something. We're not invalidating anything. So what we can say is this can be, it says it can be null. Yes, we know. We'll do something like this: if timers, right? If there is timers is not equals to null. Okay. Okay, something like this. So what this will do is it will get the state. We don't need to pass anything, and in the view also we'll get this error because we are passing timers. We don't have to. So something like this, and we can call this on the callback of this listen. When it will listen, right? What does listen do? It will get the data and run a function, right? Just run this. So whenever you listen, whenever you get something, you just update the local status. And what this local status will do is it will get the state, the preference. If there is timers, it will update the timer, and okay, based on timer we'll put it here. This will put here. Okay, we'll reload that is, if there was anything in the set preference that we did not have access to, it will get accessed, and we'll get this. Okay, so port.listen is correct. Now what we need the UI port now, right? So let me pick up the things from Chrome. Just give me 1 second. So it says we need to do something like this. We need to, in the UI send port, we need to look up isolate server. So 1 second. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm taking this from the example on .dev for what do you say? The name is LM manager, Android LM manager that we are using, okay? So UI send port and isolate name server. It will look for the isolate name, and if you say isolate name, so let me show you the Chrome what I'm looking at. So if you see here, right, so what it wants, that in your main you should register a port with name. So if you register this, register the UI isolates send port to allow for communication from background isolate. So we'll take this and put this on. I'll put on, let me put that here. Okay, we're just copying this and putting it in the main. Give me one more second. So isolate a register port with name, returns a register and port with a given name. Returns if registration is successful and false with the name which already exists, in which case the earlier registration is left unchanged. To measure, consider remove port number. One second. Okay, so in main we need to register this with the, but should we do this in main? Like, is it mandatory? Here, port, undefined import reconnect. Import, if import main. Let's do one thing on the main. Let's remove this from main. Let's see if we can do this, okay, without putting in the name. So if you put directly here on init state, we put it here, right? And this port, put this here. One second. Let's put this in main here. Get this port from component view. This is the same name as isolate name. So let's put it name as so alarm manager, something like this. And in the view we'll need this. So since we need a name, right? Something like this. Sends an asynchronous message to this endpoint to its corresponding receive port. If the sending and receiving isolate do not share the same port and isolate share the port of the sensitive can only contain the following kinds of object. Instance of mistake. Okay, we can pass many things. That is none of concern. Let's restart. Let's see if we get any error. Okay. When you open this, we get nothing. So it's stopped for now. Click on this. Okay, it started. It says. Let's wait for 20 more seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, alarm fired, and yeah, it worked. If you see this, right, it got updated. So it is working, right? It is working however we want. So current status, it's mostly copy pasting code, okay, and if something goes wrong, it'll be very hard to debug because we rarely understand things. So something I got, like, we need to keep listening the port, because if anytime it is fired, these things will run, okay, and it'll update the local status. that I got. And this is in a set state. We will change this to not set state, don't worry. So let's do it right now. So exec lm permission, let's make a state provider, permission status provider, and it's of type permission status. Permission status will be coming from handle permission, and by default the state will be granted. Okay, and now in the views, the provider, we don't need this underscore. Now in the views we can watch for this, so we'll do something like final ref.watch. I forgot the name, that's why I'm trying to write it. So it's a lm status, lm permission status, okay? lm permission status to this, okay? And we're doing set station, check lm permission, transfer this, and await permission that status. We can do instead of set status, we'll do ref.read this status, status dot notifier dot state equals to current status. Okay, that is one. And we ask for a permission also, right? So this one, if it's granted, then if it's granted, we can just do ref.read this, just put this, okay? Let's go here, and whatever we wrote here, we just need to copy paste the same thing. This one, we just got this one, ungranted. So you can just write this to granted. To provider, get this permission status as granted. Okay, that should do. And if exec lm permission, we don't have to do it this way. Lm permission status, we can do it this way. If lm permission status dot is denied, then do this, or else run this. Okay, let's reload this page, and before reloading we also need to remove this. Remove this, reload 1 second. Okay, now if you see, we have the request is permissible, and this, let's make it 10 seconds so that it's quick. Update, click on this, it should run for 10 seconds. That is 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, go. No, they did not update, right? Why was that? They should have become the Interesting. So didn't we run this on port listen? It did fire this. Did it not find the isolate name or something like that? Let's see one thing. So let's see if this event got triggered. Okay. So here execute developer.log, and this will be from port. Okay, let's restart once again. Go here, start clock true, that is the alarm started. Alarm fired, but if you see, we did not get the log, right? That means the port listening was not done. This receive port, right? It is not the same instance, it seems. We did register the port with name, right? The name is also same. Just returns boolean. So let's see. Isolate registered. We will print isolate registered string. Reload this. No, it's not registering. But why is that? So it says it false if the name had entry already existed, in which case the earlier registration is left unchanged. To remove a registration, consider remove port name mapping. Once a port has been registered with a name, it can be obtained from any isolate using lookup port by name. Multiple registration should employ the attempt to register port with the same name if there is an inheritance stress condition in doing so. Okay. So I think the problem is like here, right? We're listening through this port. I think the instance is not correct. So UI send port. If it's not there, then look for this. Static method to allow for simple sharing of send port across isolates. All isolates shared a global mapping. So if it's already there, then once a port has been registered with a name, it can be obtained from any isolate using look up port by name. Go to the views. In here, the receive port opens a long link port for receiving message. The receive port is a non-broadcasted, but it buffers incoming message until a listener says that only one listener can receive message. So let's do one thing. Port on dispose. Port data. What does close do? Closes the receive port. No further events will be received by the receive port or emitted as stream events. Okay, this happens. It's just false because it seems like if there is already one running, it cannot run once again. Other one cannot be because the name becomes same, right? But let's do one thing. So if we do something like this, isolate name server dot do port by name, and this is alarm manager dot listen. No, you cannot. You can. This will return a send port, right? But we need to listen on a receive port. So what do we do? But on documentation, this is what it says. Port is to communicate from the isolate to isolate. This what is my restriction name of the musician consider remote port for mapping. Name alarm manager. Then write one minute. So if you reload this now, it does set up one. Then if you run this and click for this, it get triggered. Let's wait for 10 more seconds. Okay, now you see we get it from the port, right? Then I'm got, and the key, this also changed, right? So what's happening is if there is already one, right? So every time the app come up, there's a new instance of this view, right? This one, there's a new instance of it. So So that will be the problem, it seems. So every time we need to stop it and start a new one. But if you stop it every time an app opens up, right? So the problem will be that if something was supposed to run in the background, right, that won't run. So how do you store the same instance? Opens a long lib port for receiving message. The receive port is a non-broadcast stream. This means that it buffers incoming message until a listener is registered. Only one listener can use the optional debug name parameter can be set to associate name with a port that can be displayed in tooling. Canceling is subscription. And here, when you dispose it, closes the receive port. No further events will be received by the receive port or immediate stream. If listen has been called and stream subscription has not been cancelled yet, the subscription will be closed with a done event. If the stream has already been cancelled, this method has no effect. This will be a problem actually. If you close the app, it should be a problem. That is what I'm thinking. So let's see if there is any answers to them. So background actually by instance. So describe the way callback register on the receive port that processes the event from the background isolation. The UI isolate is not called. The example app suffers from the same problem. The callback is never called, so the UI is never updated. So you're listening to this. The callback should be this, and I screwed up. Thought I was on Flutter channel stable, but I was not. Once I switched from master to stable, it worked flawless. Okay, seems like he was not having the issue. Support caused the .pm to hang. Import. Show me the whole PM and controls this was. That's main function of press a bit different than other premise more often init. Anything means it can exit and the application will continue running. .vm application stays alive, it's listening for event. Thing means one or more open streams. So receive port is a stream. Closing the stream will terminate the application. So data from some set long as one of those are open. So that doesn't mean it's not done. New event might arrive on the receive port to trigger more computation. The isolate itself does not know whether anyone has sent port that can send it. It just assumes that it's possible. If the isolate and the program will live because the program doesn't know for sure that it's not done computing it. You can create a new isolate and have it wait for commands on receive port without the isolate shutting down the first time it's idle. It does mean that you need to close your port when you are done. I believe that thread or a work started by receive port is still alive and needs to be explicitly shut down. Try adding fill or close, and if that exists, that explains it. So you're saying if I click on this, 1 second. So it means that if I click on this, right, and close this, I will never get the log. Because the port will close, right? Okay. So on dispose, I cannot close this because I want to keep this to be listening, right? Okay, give me one more second. So cancel this, start one more, and if you push this to background, it will listen. Bring this up, close this, open once again. Stream has already been listened to. Hi Tejas. So it says the stream is already listened, that's why you cannot again listen to it, because it's creating a new instance again, right? If you see it, it's creating a new instance again, and if you create a new instance, there is nothing. So in the main, what it does is register port with name. So whenever you open, you get this error. One second. When you open this, close this, open it once again. Okay. Let's go to the docs once again. Here it says isolate name. Okay. It creates a receive port. Get that. Pass it here. I started the basics of Flutter, but I'm confused in multiple child. What is the issue you are facing with multiple child? I did not get. Like, are you working with rows, columns, or I can help you. Just say like. So what is the issue with columns? Like, let me show you one thing. So if you go here, right? Like, what do you want to achieve? Let me create one test file. Okay? Give me 1 second. So if I create a file here and test.dart, okay. So I'm supposing you created a stateless, right? You created a stateless widget. So stateless. So if you create a stateless widget and just write my widget, okay? I'm supposing you got this, then okay. And you did a column here, right? Column, and you got a children, and suppose in the children you have something called text hello, right? Something like this. I'm supposing this is how you create it, right? And let me hide the emulator for now. And in the main, you can go to my app, and here you can go to my widget. Okay, save this, and let me put this in scaffold so that we don't get this black screen. Okay, rapid widget scaffold, and in the body we put this, and put this in safe area so that it does not come to the, it does not stay in too top. Okay, and let me increase the size of it. Style, text style, font size to 30. Yeah, now say me what is the issue you are facing. And I'm supposing this is how you create a column. So this is what is the issue, like what is the issue you are facing here? Heading button below the text. So this is a text, right? So just put a button here. Suppose if you have a fill button, just put a fill button, and here text, and you write something like click me. Remove the constant because it's a, yes, this is a click me. Let's put everything in the center. Okay, and axis alignment dot center, cross axis alignment dot center, and here measure size to box with double dot infinity. Yeah, heading button. Yeah, this is a button, right? If you see, this is hello and this is a button. We just added it here, right? You create a text. And what error did you get? I did not. Just put up your issue, okay? Like I can explain to you if you are facing any difficulty. Like what is the issue? I'm not getting it. If you have your system with you, right, you can put the error message that is coming. Put the red color message that's coming. Put it in small so that the text doesn't become too large. Or else you can do one thing. Give me 1 second. I've shared the Telegram link for discussion. You can put the image there. If the text, the error size is too long, right? Just put a screenshot there, and I can say it live. just go to this Telegram link and just put the screenshot there. Okay, so let's get back to the issue. So it was creating an isolate. So every time you close this, right, it will create a new instance of this, and you can't listen because it's almost done, right? So how do you get that? Okay. So problem. How do you solve this? You open this, you get an instance of receive port, you're listening on it. You close this, try to open 1 second, you get the error because the stream has already been listened to, right? So you do. That means this port was closed. That is a simple explanation that can be given. Let me see. So this registration is already been listened to. Sometimes the issue could be just do a hot restart instead of hot reload. Stream controller broadcast. Let's count how much stream can be listened until one such time. If you try to add multiple listeners, it will throw. To prevent this error, expose a broadcast stream. You can convert this stream to a broadcast using listeners. The most common format stream can be listened only once at a time. It can, if you try to add multiple listeners to the base session, when this expose a broadcast stream, you can convert your stream to a broadcast using my stream as broadcast stream. This needs to be done inside your class that exposes the stream, not as a parameter. To celebrate on the different stream control question. I get connections every time. So what I'm doing is I'm looking on Chrome, okay. This is a stream event. Broadcast new event will sync or the behavior subject. One second. Since what? Opens along the receipt port is non-broadcast and this means that it buffers incoming message until it listener is registered. Only one listener can receive message. So how do you do that? Let's search. Let's go Chrome once again. So we do receive port isolate Flutter instance. So this is isolate. First magic on implementing simple worker isolate. This supports setting up long-line combination isolate Facebook classes in addition to isolate. This support and send port. These ports are the only way isolate can communicate with each other. It's an object that handles messages that are sent from other isolate. Those messages signed by a signed port. A signed port object is specifically one support, but a single receipt port can have multiple signed ports. Not receiver places signed port for itself. You can create additional signed port that can send messages when existing receipt ports. Here's some listing logic. In fact, receipt ports implement string. And think of send and zipper like string and listeners effectively send and it's like a string pointer. That message to be sent for the send. First message to provide listeners because okay. The diagram is sectional highlight and to convey a concept of the imports for isolated information like a repeat input you can let them spell. So receive port can have a send port and worker isolate send port. We connection between the examples and media text. Just impulse. Support. So when the worker spawn method is very good at the code to creating the worker isolate and message can receive and send messages. Create a receive for this is the main isolate receive message and then you respond with isolate. So you listen to the isolate and start an isolate and receive port. You handle the response and which is input isolate pass to the callback. Start from an isolate as an argument when it's called on the worker isolate. With the first mention the worker isolate as a way to send message back to the main isolate. Okay. First create another new receive port. This port receives future message from the main isolate. Okay. Next send the port send port back to the main isolate. Okay. Spawn. So the problem we're facing is like since once the listening is complete, right? So it's a stream and we're trying to listen more than once. So here receive port dot as broadcast stream. A value of time stream dynamic can't be assigned to a variable of type receive port. We're using this port here also. Here you go. When we register, right? I think my understanding of port is not this is port for we're doing for alarm, right? Alarm service alarm manager regular intervals typical. I want to communicate with isolates fire with alarm manager plugin from my main isolate. The only way to do that is to use send port and port. How do I use port with a plugin, or is it even possible? So I finally found it in your alarm callback isolate to the following to receive a message. This is the alarm callback. You will receive port. If your alarm callback isolate, and then in your main isolate, so how is this solving the issue? If you see here, like it's inside the alarm callback, right? It's listening for this. So he wants to listen inside the port. By sending things from here, right? So this is one. It seems like they implemented this. Okay. So it's not it's how you did it, not like We wanted to see the porting. So where is the code then? Come on, you can't just say everything and not put the code, right? Stupid. Okay, let's see this. It says 4 years ago, but that should not be a problem. We can't. My English not good. I use Android and I'm manager. Please provide Flutter doctor. We'll need a complete minimally protestable force. Given the same you should have provided for a minimum cost and okay. Seems like it's getting tougher for us. So the main issue is the isolate. When we listen, since we're trying to listen once again, we get that issue because this one. So if you see this is a stream, right? This will only give you one instance. So if you do port dot is broadcast stream, but if you run this once again, right, this will throw an error because you already ran it once, right? So you can't just write it here. If port dot is do we know if someone is listening? How do you solve this? I have no idea. So when you reload the page, you create up this this one, right? The isolate, you register the isolate, which I get true here. Then you open up this. You can start the timer, but when you close this, right? Okay, I'm not sharing the emulator. So yeah. So now if I close this, right? Then what happens is it was listening. If you see the view, the init state call stays initialized, right? So if it's already there, it has no you. And you try to listen 1 second. That is when you get the error because it's already being listened to, right? So you can remove from the init that I get. But is there no way to see if like code.listen? What does it checks whether test accepts any element of the validation? No. Okay, we put the port.listen. This is port.listen. We need to receive port also. We don't get an error. And if we put port.listen here, but we won't have access to reference because it's not even part of paper port. Because it's here, right? So our scope is here. So the problem is happening because of this isolates. We hardly know how to solve it. So the receive port. Receive port. So this will create an instance of this receive port, and it will register with the port name that we get, and before registering it will remove the previous one. Because if already one is there, right? If it's already there, it won't register another one. But we need to keep listening to the port so that if there is any changes, we update based on those changes. We do. We register port with a name. We need to listen to the port. Not work out with that. So I don't think we can do that. I have to look more on how you can handle the porting, like so our issue is like when you start, you register a port. We understand that, like to register a port so that you can talk between the isolates. So when you trigger an alarm, right? When you trigger an alarm, the callback is in a different isolate, right? And what I wanted is it needs to send something. We are looking it by alarm manager name so that we both know how the communication should go on. We know the ports to communicate to. Set a global mapping of names to port and isolation registered as an port given name using register port. Look at the port region. Look the send port associated with a given name. listen port. So that is the problem. And how do we solve this? The global instance of receipt port, and let's do one thing. Put this here, and now we need to listen. We won't be listening on init. Start listening the port, and what we can do is here we start listening the port, and we can do something like inside a try block. We do port.listen. Just we wanted the port listening, something like this. Let's restart this. Open up this, click on it, starting, close, reopen, and wait for our time. Was it still listening? Yes, it was listening, but if you see it did not get closed, right? Why didn't this get closed? Unlike competitor cannot use ref after the widget was disposed. So since it's using the reference from earlier one only, right? So they're gonna cause one second. Wait for 10 more seconds. We're gonna get the error because index competitor cannot use ref after the widget was disposed. Okay, since it's the previous one only, it's still listening there, but the reference there is from the previous one, but that reference got cancelled out, right? Because this widget was destroyed. We got a new error. Let's search for this error now. Which line did the error happen? Also, one is definition in specific method. Does it have answer called? But I have not so clear. But anyway, what I can say also in the retest method, you must use grep.read and never set state. In every callback on use read. I don't think this will solve our issue because our issue is not related to this. reference inside the next string, call it directly, and then instead we have to put it inside this callback. Equals equal for the end of the string, the cover apple for the string, and from just like the first cycle for the I don't understand what this is, but yeah, let's give it a try. This is the page. Open. Stop the timer because it's running. Start a timer. Close it. Open it now. Now, in this case, the port should have the reference should be different. We still get the error if you see. It says you cannot use reference after the widget was disposed. It's happening because this drawer was disposed and we are still listening there, right? But we're using a reference. So I'm trying to find this using GPT. Okay, I'm writing the strings on GPT. So yeah, I think it should be done. It should be for today. So there is a problem. So I need to look on how isolate works. The basic things is like the listening is a problem. So when I dispose it, it cannot listen because it's a stream. It's not a broadcast. So multiple listen is not possible. You have to see on that, and you have to look a little bit more on the isolate part of thing. And tomorrow, let's see if we can find out how this isolate things work. And by tomorrow, I'll do some reading, but I think by tomorrow we'll get completed with this, and we can start with the notification part of it. Since alarm and notification both needs to be handled, right? So that on the callback there is a notification, not a debug console like this, right? So that can be done. We'll see on that. Yeah, I think that should be today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next.